Hi everybody and welcome back to Route 7 Railway, hope you're well. This is a series of videos about restoring this locomotive. It's a HO Lima Deutsche model. It's an old one and I've had it for some time. When I got it, it was a non-runner. It was also had buffers missing, the pantograph wires are broken on the top, the lights were only white lights to the front, directional lighting, no red lights fitted at all, and one of those bulbs was out anyway. Specifically the non-running part, I did a video on that and lost the lot. It turned out to be a stripped down job and a good old service, and I managed to get it up and running, and it's a lovely runner. So what do you do when you lose video number one? You just go straight on to number two. The next job was to restore the lights, and that's what this video is about. I hope you enjoy, and I'll speak to you later. Bye bye. Hi everybody and welcome back to Route 7 Railway for another bench session. Slightly unusual on this. I'm actually part way through the work on this and I'll explain why later. And what we're working on today is this. It is a HO Lima model. Perhaps you can make out what it is. Deutsche Bahn locomotive. When I got this, I've had this for some considerable while. When I got it, it was a non-runner. And I actually got it running again by doing a service on it, and it was just a clean up job, and it turned out to be a great runner. But with it being an older model, there were lots of things wrong with it. As you can see, the pantographs aren't in place at the moment, but they are there. I've just taken them off to do this job because they are live pantographs on this model. And I've disconnected them and pulled them off, so they are there and they'll be going on, back on. The other things wrong with it are things like this. The pantograph wiring is broken and I'm going to try and restore that. But one of the things about this Loco that was wrong with it is that it's got directional lighting, but only in the forward direction. So whatever direction it's going, the front light will shine white. It was not equipped with red lighting on the rear of the locomotive, depending on the direction, of course. So what I thought is I'll have a go at improving the direction. Well, let's just go back a little bit. It's got directional lighting, but in the white only. But one of the bulbs wasn't working, and here is the offending bulb. That was not working, so they only had the one bulb that was working. And what I've decided to do, if I was going to replace that bulb, I thought I'll replace it and I'll upgrade the lighting with one of these. I hope you can see that. I'll zoom in if I get a chance when I'm editing this. This is a 2mm tower LED that shows red or white depending on the direction of flow of power, which is a great thing. And this also already 12 volts, so there's no need to add resistors to this, and these are quite cheap on eBay. You have to do a bit of searching to get them, but they're great. And what I did, I've actually wired a new one in on this side as a proof of concept of the job. And what I'll do is I'll show you on this end how to do it. And there you can see the bulb fitted in. I'm going to do a slightly better job on this side because when I did it as a proof of concept, I didn't put any heat shrink on my wires, so I taped them up and I put some tape there to stop it shorting out on the casing of the Loco. But if I give you just a show of what this looks like. Right, here is it running on my slightly old test bed. So it's a little bit ropey, but never mind. Ignore that light. That's just because the old wiring is still in place. So just ignore that one. This is what you're looking at. You can see the direction of travel is showing white here. And this is on the new bulb. Now if I reverse that, you now see it switches to red. So that's what is going to happen on this end. I'm going to sort that out, and I'll explain how we've gone about that. The existing wiring is only showing white, and that would only show white in the direction of travel. As you can see, this is red, so obviously the direction of travel is that way. It would show white. This Loco is only wired to show a white light in the direction of travel. There's no red wire and no red bulb or anything in it, so I'm upgrading it. Now the two wires that go into the bulb, which is fine, normal, simple, and I wired that in with on the other end to show the white light there. I just wired it in. Oops, sorry, that's my test bed playing up. So that's wired in, if you like, the exact same as it was before, just to show a white light in the direction of travel. Again, ignore that one. That's as a consequence of what I've been doing. And in order to be able to turn that red, I've connected the lighting power from this end back to the front, and with these two wires. So it gets current when it's travelling that way, and it'll also get current when it's travelling the other way, but sent back from the front light in the other direction, if you know what I mean. I hope I've explained that. So at the moment, that is just getting normal power from the connections that were in existence. If I switch to that and it shows red, it's actually getting, that bulb is actually getting a secondary power from the now front light. So it's getting power back from the other end back here to operate that. And what I'm hoping is that when I connect the new bulb in this end, the new LED, that those two wires are going to serve this one as well. So depending which way the power's going, if you like, this end is going to show white from the normal wiring, and then from these connections it's also going to send it to the back and light the red up in the opposite direction. So let's see if I can get that to work. So let's just take it off there for now. Fingers crossed it works that way and it just doesn't blow up, because electronically I'm average with these things, but I'm just trying to work it out, thinking a bit of, you know, just work my way through it, see if it works. And it's an old train, so if the whole thing just exploded, it wasn't an expensive thing to buy. And if it can get it red and white at both ends, that'd be just brilliant, wouldn't it? This is the light box that just comes off. I might fix that down. It looks like it was glued in the past. I'm going to fix it down with a bit of black tack, I think, for now. And luckily enough, the LED fits in nice and snug and doesn't move anyway. So if I'll cut this wire off and I'll put power through the train to ensure which way the LED needs to be fitted. So I'll just snip this off. That is a working bulb, so I'll keep that. I can sling this one because it's knackered. This one I'll keep because it might come in handy in the future for something else. Okay. Now, as I've explained, this has already been pre-wired up. That was a simple job, just to join the ends together. And all I had to do was ensure that when I connected it up to the old wires, that it showed white. And then I just tested it to ensure that when I brought the power back, before I soldered it, I tested when I reversed the power that it would show red. Now what I'm hoping is that that's going to double up and work in the opposite direction. So I'll just strip this. Right, so connecting up to these normal lights, this should, as you can see, that's a bit of a giveaway, but that's showing red at the rear. So this light, when I connect it up, should show white. Wrong, so I'll just turn that round. Right, that's showing white. So the long leg is going onto this wire and the short leg is going to go onto this wire. So that's what I'll do now. I'll just solder that up. Right, the LED has little marks on the wires there, and that's to tell you that you don't solder any closer to the LED than that point. So I'm going to solder just past there. Okay, so I'm going to solder these up. I've tinned them. I'm going to solder them to the LED. I'm just going to put some heat shrink on there to stop any bare wires shorting out on the casing of the Loco. Okay, so that's soldered up. Now what I've got to do now is just tidy that up to allow the heat shrink to go on. Okay, now I've snipped off the excess terminals on the LED, and I'll just slide the heat shrink over. And I don't even have to weld it on. So let's try. There we go. White light. Now let's see if it works in reverse. And yes, it does. So we've got a successful job there. Red, white, reverse direction. White, red. Excellent stuff. So those LEDs are fantastic. No resistors needed, no added resistors needed, 12 volts straight out the box, and that little job of connecting the front and back together has worked in reverse. So that's a good job. What I'll do is I'll connect the pantographs up again. They're screwed in. These terminals are the terminals for the pantograph, because even though this is an old model, it had fully working pantographs. So that's great. So I'll put it back together, and I'll show you from the front and rear what the lights look like with the body on. So watch this space. What I've got to do now is set this into its light box. There's the light box, and as you can see, I hope you can see, I'll zoom in if I can, that fits nice and snugly into that light box without any glue. So if I put the light box in its place, the wires just go in the original position, and there's the little push-in clamp, like something, you get a similar thing in 13 amp plug. That goes in and holds the whole thing in place. So now we've got, and as you can see, this is a better job than I've done at the other end. Heat shrink to isolate it from the casing, whereas before I didn't use it. I did later on when I connected these wires, but I've used tape there, and I'm not going to take it all to bits again because it's all working fine, and you can't see it anyway. So let's see if I can. I think I just might use a little bit of black tack to hold that down. Right, if I lift that up, I'm just going to put a little bit of black tack on there, because that's where you can see where there was glue. I only need a little tiny bit. And I'll do it at both ends. Bit of black tack there. Push that down. Put the little clamp back in. Push them wires in. So that's all in, and the clamp and the light box is in place. Do the same at the other end. I've got a feeling this video is all over the place, so I'm going to have to edit it down to make it short enough and make some sense, I hope. So that's it all done. This body just clips back on. Just as a tip, if you're dealing with one of these early Lima locomotives, in order to get the body off, there's no screws holding it on. You have to put a very fine, sharp blade in between the body and the casing. And all you do is just a little twist and it clicks off, and you do that in 4 places. Just be very careful when you put it back on, just clip it back into place. So now I'm going to put it on the test bed, and I'll show you both ends working. Red lights to the rear. I'll switch that. I think the red light there, it doesn't seem to be happening at the other end. I think it just might be the body not clicking in properly, and I'll sort that out. So I'm really pleased with that job, and the light bleed is sorted. Great stuff. Hi, welcome back. That turned out really well. I'm really pleased with it, and I hope you'll watch when I do some more videos on this actual Loco in the continuing upgrade of it. I'm going to the Staffordshire Showground Model Railway Show tomorrow. I don't know if this video will be up by then, but I hope to see you there. And I'm also going to Getz in a few weeks' time, so I hope we can meet up. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.